What is up, my eco nerds? It is so good to see you. So today I'm bringing you a video about 3 sustainability errors that I've made, 3 mistakes, and how they're making me better. Because we're gonna make mistakes, guys. This is the sustainability movement, not the all perfect people everywhere get together and have a party movement. Okay? 4. One thing I don't think I see enough is taking apart the aesthetic of the zero waste movement and the minimal movement. It's more prevalent than it was when I first started. People are starting to say, hey guys, this is what my life actually looks like. These are things that I actually bought that are not sustainable. But I think if I want to see more of us getting real about it and challenging ourselves further, then I have to be one of the people who does it. So here I am, and here are some mistakes that I've made. So I wrote them all down, so I made a nice little list. So the first one is falling for the specialty store or vacation-y tourist trap. I did this once really recently and twice on a trip. So I go to Japan every couple of years, and one of the things that I did while there was go, oh wow, that's really cool, I like it, I have money, I can buy it, I can buy everything. And the next thing I knew, I was shopping for all of the cute things that fit my aesthetic perfectly, but without thinking about the fact that they were of like where they were coming from, who they were being made by, whether those people were being paid and treated fairly, the fact that I was contributing to massive consumer culture, and the fact that I was accumulating bunches and bunches of stuff. Recently, this manifested as me really wanting to make a fun, frilly Italian Renaissance dress, which I am very excited about and will love deeply. I didn't think that I could afford to buy the silk taffeta that it would have been made out of originally, or the cotton velvet that it would have been made out of originally. I didn't think that I could afford sustainable, ethical, fairly traded and organically grown and low impact dyed cotton fabric version of it. And I felt that because I didn't have time to look for it secondhand and didn't have the resources to buy it in a way that was more sustainable, instead I just went, well, I'll just buy some cotton from Joann's, and it's fine because it's cotton, so it's fine, without really checking into whether that was how it was produced. So I went out and I bought 7.5 yards of fabric, largely because I didn't really recognize that lack mindset that I had bought into until I had already purchased 3 yards of it. And then it turned out that 3 yards wasn't enough, so I had to go back and buy more. I bought 7.5 yards of this stuff. And then I bought another 6 because when I went back, when I didn't have enough, when I went back, I didn't color match. So bonus mistake, always bring this thing that you bought first to color match. Everyone has told you this, and you're going to disregard it one time because you're already out. You might as well just stop. Don't do it. It's a trap. So that is how I made that mistake. And why was it a mistake? Because I spent the same amount of money that I would have at this point on one ethically created amount of fabric for one dress. I now am making 2 dresses and 2 sets of sleeves because I have all this fabric now, and I already bought it and I already committed to it, and so it's already cut. I might as well. So I'm going to love these dresses to death and wear them everywhere, and not buy myself anything for new garb until everything I'm making has been sewn, because I got a lot of projects that need to be sewn before I go out and get anything else. I'm also going to go ahead and probably gift away a couple of the pieces of early garb that I made in hopes that like I can bring along some other nerdy friends with me on this journey. So that's fun. But I could have just gone ahead and bought the silk taffeta, or I could have just gone ahead and bought the organically grown, fair trade certified cotton at this point. So don't fall for it. And if you do, learn from my mistake. I'm learning that if I can't afford the fabric for a new dress because ethical amounts are too expensive, that means I need to save up for the fabric and make the dress later, because there will be enough. Or I need to wait and see if I can find it thrifted, because you would not believe how much fabric there is to be thrifted. All right, talking about this one for 6 minutes, so I'm gonna go on because I got 2 more for you. Mistake number 2, and I am, as I said, I have a list. Oh, did you not see the other 2 pages? There are 2 more pages. I'm like this today, you guys. It's fine. Anyway, mistake number 2 is the no plan big spending. So I made this one today also. I made this one and the Joann Fabrics ones today, or in the past week. So this one, I made the assumption that all thrifting is automatically sustainable because it's secondhand. Woo! I gave into a shopping craving because I do not go shopping very often. And instead of examining that impulse and going, what's going on here, Christine? Why do you feel like this? Instead, I just went with the feeling. And all of that, as with the dress for Joann, from Joann's, came from a lack mindset. I don't have enough. I need to fill this hole that I feel inside of myself with stuff, kitchen stuff for baking. That was a mistake because I ended up still contributing to consumer culture mindset. Like I still ended up contributing to consumer culture externally. I still just poured a lot of money into shopping anyway. And that tends to create more of a linear economy rather than a circular one. Even when it's secondhand, you're still shopping. Don't forget you're still shopping. It also contributes to my own consumer mindset. I got a reward out of that. I have very adorable soup bowls now. Look at this. It's so aesthetically pleasing and small and perfect. I love it. I have 5 of them. I can have friends over for soup sometime. It wasn't the only thing I bought. I bought a whole box of things. I went in for one thing and I bought a box of stuff. All of it plastic free, all of it super exciting. Not what I went in for. So contributes to my consumer mindset. Now I feel like I can do that. I can go in and I can thrift like a whole box of stuff and it's fine. I have to retrain my brain some more now in the opposite direction. No, we only buy things that we need when we need them and when we have a plan going into the store to buy those things. That's all. I could have brought stuff home that I don't actually need because I didn't think about whether I actually need it until I was suddenly in the store in the middle of a decision and whether or not I was going to buy it, and gosh darn it, I wanted it, so I went with the emotion. Now I have 2 lanterns. I'm excited about them, but I have 2 of them. I probably only need 1. So I'm going to have to figure out, what the plan is with that. And I just spent the money that I made, which equates to my time and my energy that I just spent, doing stuff at work. I spent that on things that might not actually be bringing joy into my life because I went with an impulse instead of going with a plan. So, all right, not my best move. Again, it comes from a lack mindset. Now I can recognize that there are always going to be awesome things at the thrift store. People go through their stuff at an insane rate. A lot of people buy new stuff because it's new and they want it. And donate perfectly good old stuff if they're not throwing it away. But sometimes they donate it to the shops that I want to support. And if I don't buy the thing right now, there will be another very, very cool thing that I feel equally emotional about at another thrift store when I come back looking for this thing. It does exist for me in the world as a sustainable option. I just have to wait and get it. To go in with a plan. So that is what I've learned. We are about to be visited by my cat, maybe, because she's being cuddly. But I can also confront my own need lack mindset that's going on and be like, okay, why do I feel like I need these things? Maybe because I'm stressed out about a couple of things and haven't journaled about them recently. Maybe because I know that I'm going to be living in a new situation and I'm excited about it and I want to have the really fun life that I am assuming that these items can give me. I'm giving more power to objects than they actually have. I'm giving them the power to make me happy and not recognizing that my happiness comes from me and my choices. So next time I have this experience, I will remember this and I will go, wow, I remember doing that. And I remember making a YouTube video specifically about that. And I'm not going to do this again because there is something out there for me and I need to figure out what's going on with me. All right. Last mistake, guys, that we're talking about today, because I have plenty of mistakes. We're just not discussing all of them because that would be a very long video. This is already a very long video. You don't want that. So moving on. Guilt discarding. So this happens for me when plastic presents itself into my life, suddenly and unexpectedly. There is plastic now, or trash in general. Hi, kitten. I told you there was going to be a cat. This is Mia. Hi, baby. All right. So, the trash has suddenly presented itself, and you feel terrible about it, right? Oh my gosh, this soft plastic is going to end up in the ocean, and it's going to choke a whale, and then the world is going to die because there's nothing in the oceans that's alive anymore. And it's because I have this piece of plastic wrap in my sink. I bought meat and now there's a styrofoam thing on it, and I already made an impact by eating meat, and now there's an unrecyclable piece of plastic that is covered in meat juice. Or in my case, my roommate absolutely refuses to adopt a less wasteful existence or to let me talk about the problems that are occurring and potential options we have to confront them. So she will continue to buy things that are not sustainable and use things that are not sustainable, and I have to look at and handle some of the trash from that. And all of that bothers me a lot. So I tend to have a very hard emotional reaction to it, a very negative emotional reaction. Like, do you see this? This is me being affected by theoretical trash right now, you guys. That's what that is. So I have a very negative reaction every time that I encounter plastic. And I don't always have the emotional energy or resilience to do something creative with it. Sometimes I'm just like, listen, this piece of garbage is garbage. How dare it have entered my household? I'm just gonna put it in here and pretend it doesn't exist. And into the trash it goes. Sadly, throwing it out does not reduce its potential contact with water. You know, it's not like if I'm throwing away a plastic fork, that's not really saving it from contaminating the water that I would be using to wash it over and over again as a dish, because instead it's going straight into the landfill, eventually into the ocean. In the landfill, it will be rained on, and in the ocean, it will be oh, good grief, I don't know what it's called, like photo degraded or photo, something like that. Photo sunlight, like it's like biodegradation, but with light instead of with like dirt. Anyway, I'm, as you can see, not the most scientifically read up on zero waster, but I'm doing my best. So I also do this out of a considerate amount of worry that if I just keep it, I will live in a pile of plastic wrap, which I would. I have been known to just hold on to trash forever because I feel bad about it, but I don't know what to do. There is a brilliant quote by Christina, I think it's Scalize, but I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. But she said that clutter is the physical manifestation of unmade decisions fueled by procrastination. I mostly agree with her, but I would say that procrastination is the unmade decisions that clutter is manifested as, and that the fuel for both the procrastination and the unmade decisions is fear. Fear of what it means to do something with this, fear about all kinds of things, fear about letting go of stuff, fear of what kind of impact you're making, fear that you're not able to do as much as you want to do, fear that nothing you'll do will ever be enough. Throwing this stuff away doesn't excuse me from the responsibility of it going to the landfill, or the responsibility of having generated it, or helped to generate it. It doesn't make it stop existing. It doesn't make a positive impact, and it allows more of it to come into my life, because that one is gone. I'm pretending it doesn't exist. Here comes another of the exact same thing again. So I'm becoming more open to the creative side of the circular economy, zero waste movement. I'm not going to keep everything. I'm going to work on figuring out how you do recycle those weird things. I'm looking very much forward to my chance to live by myself and not create so much garbage. And reducing things like meat consumption, because buying it in bulk is not always an option, and buying it ethically sourced and is not necessarily always as ethical as you hope, and all kinds of stuff. So reducing the consumption of meat. But this also helps me see where the plastic is coming into my life. And it lets me be more creative with what comes into my life in the meantime. So, see this cute little thing on my head? I made this thing in like 5 minutes. And I'm going to show you how. Boop. All right. This is an onion bag. Not purchased by me, purchased by one I love, my roommate. And I was absolutely devastated that there was an onion bag in my fridge that had just been emptied and therefore would have to be thrown away, because do you think that they can recycle this? Probably not. So I took another piece of waste that was sitting around at the same time, a twisty tie, the type that comes on bread and bags of produce. And all I did was I took the onion bag, which was much more disheveled at the time. I stretched it between its two little ends. I folded it in on itself, thusly, so that they kind of cross. It's like that, right? Pinch it in the middle. Twist it up with your twisty tie. I make very attractive faces when I'm crafting. This is why I don't have an Etsy store. Leave yourself a little bit of space and a little bit of an end, because you're going to want to grab one of those old beret clips from like the 60s that no one in your house really uses for anything, because like this is not super attractive unless you are cutting hair. And you're just going to stick it on to the bottom. I have found that using the claw side works best. And you sort of want it on the flat side, preferably the flat side that has the little ends on them so they don't stick out. But yeah, you're just gonna stick that on into here, and then you're gonna finish securing your twisty tie, because you only did that halfway, because that's what I told you, and you listen, you good listener. So to finish putting it together, twist up your little twisty tie ends. There we go. And then proceed to fluff out your brand new bow. Squeeze in the twisty tie a little bit so it doesn't take up too much space, and then just fluff and fluff and fluff. And look at that, you made yourself a pretty little bow. You will go to the store and get compliments about this bow from crafters because you're at Joann Fabrics, like me. And you will say, I made it out of an onion bag. And they'll be like, what? Why was I paying for mesh? There are so many options. So that's what I have for you today, Eco Nerds. Thank you so much for listening. I know it's a very long video, but I hope that I have helped you to see that you can own up to those mistakes that you've made instead of just continuing to make them like I have been doing with the plastic thing. And I hope that it helps you to look for your own lack mindset and your own pre-made assumptions and see where it is that you can confront them and do something different and let your mistakes improve you instead of just making you feel horrible about yourself. Do less of that. Less of the feeling horrible about yourself, more of the creativity and abundance mindset. The things that you need exist for you in the real world, and you just have to keep your eyes open for them and believe that they're coming for you, okay? Because they are. They're coming for you. All right, you know what to do. Stay sustainable. Adorkably! Bye.